This project is inspired by something I saw on the Kirkland's website. It is $34.99, but I make it much cheaper. Okay, I'm going to start by using elephant chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to paint a piece of I was going to say scrap wood. So then I'm going to take some chalk paint from Waverly in moss. And then I'm just going to dry brush it with my chippy brush over the top. Now in the inspired piece, it was red, but I do not have red in my decor this year. I've gone with more neutral tones, greens, creams, that kind of thing. So I'm going to make this with a moss color, but of course you can make it with red. So like I said, in the inspiration piece, it was 8 inches by 24 inches, and this is much smaller. So, you know, obviously it's going to cost less, but I just was like, these little ski ornaments from Dollar Tree this year are really good. And so I'm going to use that on this. So again, just a piece of scrap wood. I started with elephant gray chalk paint, and now I'm just taking the moss chalk paint and dry brushing it on to give it that, you know, rustic look like the inspiration piece. I just kind of keep adding it. I start light because I want to make sure I don't get too much paint on. I've done that so many times, so I'm just starting with the light. And then I'm going to go to my Cricut, and I'm just going to type out Happy Holidays with a snowflake, and I will cut that out. As you can see here, here's the ornament from Dollar Tree. Super cute. Can't believe they can sell this for $1. I'm thankful. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard that Dollar Tree is going to start moving it up to $1.25. So not a huge deal unless you buy 50 things at once like maybe I do. Okay, so here again, I'm going to take my vinyl cut here from my Cricut, and I will just rub it down on here. I will glue my little skis down, and I think this sign looks a lot like the inspiration piece. Again, just that it's green. Of course, the skis are a little different, but I basically made this for a little over $1 because, of course, it's scrap wood and there's some vinyl here. So let's call it the $2-3. And we duped a $34.99 Kirkland item. Again, of course, mine's a little bit of a smaller version. And then lastly, I just glued on some of the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree to the back, and this just makes it so it can stand up on its own, which I like, so I can add to my decor. Okay, I got this wood tree here from my friend Tracy, and I am going to link her Facebook group down below, and you can get wood cutouts like this. And I'm going to paint it in moss green, and then this little ornament I'm going to paint in white. And then I'm going to take these wooden dowels from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put the antique wax stain on them. Also, the little ornament is also from my friend's store, so again, I will link that below. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a quick and easy Christmas countdown. So again, I just painted the tree in the base in Waverly chalk paint moss, and these are an antique wax, and then a little white on the ornament. I'm just going to space these out. Because of the size of the ornament, I felt that if I did all 24 days, it would be a little bit too jammed. So I'm only doing 20 days. Depending on the size of what you're using to mark the days and whatnot, you can do the 24 days. Or I thought about maybe just doing 12 days. So however you want to do it. So I just went to my Cricut and I cut out the numbers for 20 days. I will link the font down below because I don't remember it off the top of my head right now. So again, I'm just going to kind of space this out, put my numbers down, and I'm going to take the wooden dowels and I'm going to glue them with the Gorilla Wood Glue. I feel like that will definitely have a better hold than hot glue. I've been trying to use that glue more if I can, because I do find that it stays longer. I will link that glue down below as well. And because it's a wooden dowel and it can kind of roll, I decided to put the glue on the tree form instead of the dowel because I had a feeling it would roll and get glue everywhere. And so again, I just go ahead and there we go. I just put a little buffalo check bow on the ornament, and as you can see, it sits just like that on the wooden dowels, and you can put it on which day it is. If you've been here a while, you know I love texture. I picked up this ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I want to say it's $10, so I got it for $5. And I knew eventually I was going to do it on a pumpkin. I never got around to it, so it's going on a tree. And I was really excited to find these cones again at Dollar Tree because they hadn't been around in like a year. So I was really excited to find them again. Super simple, just gluing this around. This hardly feels like much of a DIY, but it's just, this cord is so pretty. And if you don't have a Hobby Lobby or something like that, you literally could just braid it. It's just braided cord. So if you have like some macrame cord or something like that, just braid it up. You could use Dollar Tree's, gosh, I'm blanking on what that's called. The stuff I've used on so many things, but you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, look at this was like a 3-minute project. And then I had a wood star in my stash, and so I just put that into the top, and this tree is complete. Now I keep going up a little bit over because it has a flat top, and I don't want a flat top. I want it to have more of a point. So I'm able to glue the threads onto each other, the rope, and kind of give it more of a point. Now this leather from Dollar Tree, I am just going to cut out a simple triangle, stuff it, and have a tree. So I just folded it in half on the back side just in case I needed to draw, and by doing that I'll get both of my front and back pieces. Now if you don't have the leather from Dollar Tree, they have some little purses out right now that's made out of this kind of faux leather, and I picked one of those up and to cut it down because, I mean, and you'll actually probably get more leather out of it. So I'm just going to hot glue it on the 3 sides, and once I've done that, I will go ahead and stuff it with just some batting that I have, and I'm going to feed my little wooden dowel in just like this. I was having to film with one hand. I was having some issues. And then I'll close it back up with hot glue. And then I will just glue that dowel to a little wooden ornament. I lost that footage. I'm so sorry, but you'll see it at the end. Okay, so now this tree is something I had made last year and I didn't like it, so I took off what was there. And it's from Chocateur, but any little wood tree would work. So this is also from Hobby Lobby. It's just a really fun ribbon. I believe it's in the regular section. I don't think it was in the Christmas section. And I love the texture of it, and it has a little bit like a crystal-y look on it. I'm just going to Mod Podge it down to the tree, and it took me 3 little cuts, and that was it for this tree. And this is how I have them styled. And the little black and white tree there in the front, the little one was from the Target dollar spot. And I just think they look so cute together. I was really excited to see these 3D kits from Dollar Tree. This is how they come. So first I'm going to take one of these little crates from Dollar Tree, as well as that nativity scene from the last slide, and I'm going to paint it in Waverly Antique Wax. And then I'm going to take 7 of these domino pieces and paint them white. Once I have them all painted white, I take some of the antique wax and I just kind of distress the edge. And then with my Cricut, I added the numbers. You can use number stickers if you'd like to. Then I measured to get that hole right in the center, and I punched it out with my Crocodile. And then I'm going to go through all of the other ones and mark them so I get them all in the same spot. And I will also, like I said, I used my Crocodile. If you don't have one of these, what is so great about them is they punch like butter. So if you have like arthritis in your hands or anything like that, it's super easy to punch with. Like, I don't have super strong hands, so I love that tool. Okay, so now that I have my pieces all painted and my numbers all down, I'm going to find out where on my crate that I want to hang these. Once I measure where I want them to be, I'm going to hammer in 2 skinny nails that I also got from Dollar Tree. They come in these little kits. They have other little hanging pieces in there and other size nails as well. And now, originally I had planned on using the opening of the crate and putting those little wood blocks in it to count down, but my Dollar Trees were all out of the little blocks, and so I came up with this alternative, and I actually like it better. So I think it was easier. And there you go. Now that's the nativity all put together. You can just add it down with some wood glue, and that's it. And I think this turned out really good. I was excited to find the snowman wreath form at Dollar Tree, and I had this loop-de-loops yarn in my stash, and so I'm not really sure where I got it. I think I got it at Joann's, and so I finally had a use for it. I will link it down below if I can find it for you, but any kind of, chenille type yarn will work. So I'm just going to start by just winding it around the wreath form. So no glue needed, because I'm just going to wrap it around itself. I'm going to go all the way around both loops. And this is what it looks like when the yarn is all the way around both circles. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of this burlap, and I did get this at Joann's. It's a shimmery burlap. This has also been in my stash for a while because shimmer and burlap are kind of an odd combination, but it works perfect for a snowman. And it is the exact width. I mean, how lucky did I get with this? So I'm just going to wrap it around twice just so you make sure you can't see the black wire form underneath it, and then just hot glue it. And then I'll cut off a piece for the, the brim of the hat, the part that goes across. And I just fold it in, I guess I would say in fours. Well, you'll see here. I can't remember. I don't know how you would describe it, but I'm just going to basically make a long strip and then just glue that down. I'm going to use the same burlap for the scarf, so I just kind of measure how I want it. I kind of don't go with the original plan, but the start works good. So again, I'm going to just make it to the thickness that I want and glue that down. Originally, I thought I would just, make it go from the back to the front, but really a scarf usually goes all the way around and then comes back into the front, and so I end up doing it that way. I simply went to my yard and found some twigs, and I'm just going to cut them down to the same length as these wire hands that you see here and just glue them down. Now sometimes hot glue and wire don't go together, but these seem to adhere just fine. So I will, again, just glue those down. And then next, it's just about embellishing the hat and the scarf, and this project's done. It was super quick and easy, and this is like one of my favorite wreaths, and sometimes less is more. You don't have to do a whole lot. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you found this snowman wreath form. I wanted to make another one and went to my Dollar Tree and they didn't have them anymore, but I have a couple Dollar Trees. So I went to another one and they had like 20, so I was pretty excited. Okay, so I'm taking this pick that I got from Michael's. It was in their grab bag, so I think it turned out to be like 10 cents for this, which is great. But you can just get any greenery. And I'm just going to use the greenery. I thought I might use the pine cones, but then I decided not to. I'm just going to glue the greenery down, and my camera cut off, but I just took 2 of the wood snowflakes that you can find at Dollar Tree. I painted them white and I added them to the snowman, and that is it. Like I said, it was a really easy project, but I am in love with how it turned out. I know you've probably seen a lot of these beaded decor pieces, but this one was super chunky, so I wanted to recreate that. So I'm using 25mm beads that I got off Amazon, as well as these snowflake ornaments from Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to stack 4 of them on top of each other, because like I said, this is going to be a chunky piece. So I'll paint that snowflake with linen colored Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And then for the beads, I'm going to take some of my antique wax, pour it into this little container here, and then I'm going to roll the beads around. After I do that, get them nice and coated, then I'm going to rinse them off. Is there an easier way to do this? Maybe. Maybe stain them in coffee? But this worked well for me, and then I just went and I rinsed them under the faucet, and it came out good, and it didn't even stain my hands or anything like that. So that's what I do. And there you can see them at the top. They're not very dark. I probably could have left them in there longer, but I didn't know, I'd never tried this before, and so I didn't want them to be too dark. So that's what I did. Then I'm just going to take this snowflake and kind of rough it up a little bit. And I will string my beads and this snowflake, and that'll be done. It will be just this chunky little piece to add to my decor. I hope you enjoyed these projects today. I am really excited to decorate for Christmas this year because it will be all new decor pieces, and that's always kind of fun to have kind of a fresh start. I am going to actually insert a picture here at the end of some of the pieces that I picked up from Hobby Lobby that I'm just going to put into my decor. I don't have to do anything with them. This centerpiece from Joann's, you won't even believe how much I made this for. So obviously this is on sale for $60. Okay, first I start out with this palette sign I had in my stash that I didn't like. So I sanded it down and then I cut two sides off so that I just have these three pieces left. There's still a little blue showing from the old paint, but it's not going to matter. If it did, I would just kind of paint over it, but we're good. So I had a little bit more sawdust down, so I just took my little ladybug vacuum and went over it just to get the extra dust off. Then I'm going to take this floral foam from Dollar Tree. This is a full pack. I love when they cut it down for me. And I will go ahead and hot glue it down to my palette board. Now, here's why this isn't going to cost me very much money. Because first I used a sign that I had bought and I didn't like, and I've had it for years and years, keep saying I'm going to do it over. Well, also, here's a stem from Michael's. It retails for $20. I can't even imagine buying a stem for $20. So I pulled it all apart and I took out all of the red. Okay, and so now I'm left with just the greenery. So here's the kicker. I got a Michael's grab bag, and if you're not familiar with those, I do have a video of me getting one recently, and I will post that here. But 2 years ago after Christmas, I got my very first Michael's grab bag. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it is, and you get a huge box or a bag for $5. Actually, I think when I got this one, it was only $4. I think they were $5 this year, but back in 2020, they were only $4. And I got the most massive amount of floral stems. I want to say there was like $600 or something worth of floral stems in my my $4 grab bag, okay? So these stems are from that. I understand you guys probably won't find this exact deal, but you're just going to grab greenery, okay? So you can grab greenery anywhere. So many craft stores have greenery, and it's not that expensive, especially when you're just buying it as greenery. When you buy it as a big bundle, like you just saw at the beginning of the screen, then they're like, oh, it's Christmas, we can charge way more. But just grab some greenery, that's all you need. So I'm just going to start taking the like greenery, and again, you can see I have a big mix of greenery. And I'm just going to kind of put it all the way around and then a little bit going upwards. Then I'm going to take the next type of greenery and I'm just going to start placing that around as well. And I'm just going to keep going with all of the different greeneries. Okay, once I get these in and get it nice and full, and then I will add some pine cones. That's it. That's this DIY. It was so simple. Again, I think this probably cost me maybe a couple dollars. I'm going to say maybe $2 in the stems because it was in the grab bag, $1 for the floral, and then again it was a palette sign that I hated and I was just keeping around to make over someday. So it didn't really cost me a whole lot. But I would say if you could find some greenery and some items, you could probably make this for around $10 to $15, which is much better than the $120 retail price it had and even the $50 sale price tag that it was coming with. And this thing looks spectacular in the middle of my table, and what I love about it is it's just kind of wintry. There's no colors, anything. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Christmassy, but it'll work for this time of year. Okay, so now you see that it's nice and full. And again, so I have these stems that already had pine cones on them, and I know Dollar Tree has these. So keep an eye out, they do have the pine cones on the stem. But if for some reason you can't find those, you could just hot glue your pine cones down. That's it. Now, I wanted to keep it like this and show you because this is the store dupe of me making it as much like the store as I could. But I decided that I thought if I used 3 of these little glass tall tea light holders from Dollar Tree and added them down into the middle, that I could also make it, you know, a lighted centerpiece.
I can see them now. It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again.
I really wanted to show this really simply, but make it look high-end. So it is chalkboard on one side, and then of course this wood on the other side. I will be using this wood side. I have the snowflake from Dollar Tree, another little ornament here from Walmart, as well as some of this ribbon from Hobby Lobby. It is so pretty. It's in their regular section. I got it half off, and it's this pretty velvet with like a frayed edge. It's so pretty, I love it. And I also picked it up in gray. I believe they had other colors as well. Now I know a snowflake wouldn't be black, but I loved the way black popped. So I just took a black Sharpie and colored over my snowflake here, and as you can see, I just wrapped the ribbon right around like a scarf, glued everything down, and that's it. 3 little items, but I thought it made it look so high-end. What do you think about the black snowflake? I saw this piece on the Michaels website and I cannot believe how much it was, and I'm going to be able to recreate it. So I'm going to take this triangle piece and this wood, 2 wood pieces, all from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cover them in steel paint from Waverly. Then I'm going to take this 3D kit here, also from Dollar Tree, and these are really neat. This is new to Dollar Tree this year, and I'm loving them. If you saw my Nativity video, I used one of these. So this is how they work. You kind of stick them up in the slats. I'm going to go ahead and push all those items aside, and I'm just going to use the trees here, and I will paint them with white chalk paint, as you see here. Okay, so now for my little deer characters. I want to make this look like wood. So I cut these out on my Cricut, and I cut 4 of them. So you can cut as many as you want. and I glued them all on top of each other. So there you can see that's 4 layers right there, and that's all I thought was necessary, but you could make it thicker if you wanted. And then I'm using my Barely Art Precision Glue. I showed you here how it's down. I just put a little glue all the way around, and then I glued each layer on top of each other. And I think this does look a lot like the little wood, like you would get kind of like those trees from Dollar Tree. Again, I found those images in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so now my 3 pieces are covered in the steel gray chalk paint. And now I'm going to start by putting the trees in. So I want these to go all the way flat against my triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it up here, and I'm going to mark with a pencil where I need to cut. Okay, so because I'm going to want this to be flush to the back. So once I mark the spots, I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and run it across a couple times, and then that should, it did, make it fit perfectly inside that triangle.
But now I got my eye set on you. Oh, I'm not gonna play it safe. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but somehow felt I wanna have someone to hold. Walking through the falling snow. Oh, oh. I've been trying to tell you in every way, but now I'll get it done. I'm not going away and right around the mistletoe. I'm gonna let my feelings show. Oh, oh. Always got you on my mind, but I know this time you're on top of my list. Only wish. And as we
Okay, now that I have that pushed back to the background, I'm going to put the deer in the foreground by gluing it there to the top of the triangle. And I didn't even need adhesive on those trees because it is in there tight. So I will go ahead and just glue the deer onto the front. And then I'm going to glue my triangle there on top of this cube, and then the cube onto our bottom layer, and then this project's done. It's a very unique project. It's a very unique project, and I'm glad I came across it on Michael's website because I really enjoy it. It's just something really different, and it was really easy to make. It just took a couple things of paint and a couple things on my Cricut, and voila, a much cheaper version. So this cost me $4 in supplies, and then a little bit of cardstock there for my deer. So a much more affordable option.
I'll be making plans, make you understand. I'm not gonna play it safe. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day.
I gathered all of my wood snowflakes from Dollar Tree. Yeah, the one in the package is from last year. There's these little tiny ones from this year. The very first ones I showed you are like a connected sign. Now these ones right here, I don't know where they're from. I just have them in my stash. They could be Dollar Tree, but I don't think so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a canvas, and I'm going to do a reverse canvas. So if you haven't seen that before, what I do is I cut the canvas part off of the frame. And using my rotary tool, I found that it actually worked a little easier than an X-Acto knife, but then of course X-Acto knife will work too. The other way you can do this is by popping all the staples out. That will also get rid of it, but that's not necessary because this will be the back side. So once I get this torn off, and we will be reusing this, so don't get rid of it. because we're using it. We're just flipping it so that the inside frame will now become the outside frame. I also like the look of the cream. That's the back side of the canvas instead of the white, so that works really well too. Now, I got a little overzealous and I put the canvas back on before I painted the frame. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's okay because I taped it off and I was able to paint the frame. But you definitely want to paint the frame before this step. So now I'm putting it back on. Okay, so now you'll see that you've got the wood, because I flipped it over, so you have the nice side of the wood on the front of the canvas. So I'm flipping it over again, and I'm going to re-staple this onto what's now the back of the canvas. So I just use my staple gun there, and you just want to make sure that you pull everything taut, and then you're going to cut off the excess canvas. Because you have to remember, before the canvas was going around the wood, and this time it is not. So you will have some excess to cut off. I do end up painting the frame with moss colored Waverly chalk paint, and I paint them white, and I believe steel gray is the other color. So I'm just going to take the various sizes here, and I'm going to lay them out how I want, and I'm trying to make a snowflake shaped Christmas tree. So I just painted the snowflakes in the 3 colors. As you can see here, I had to tape it off in order to make the frame. And I don't know why my camera kind of tilted, so it kind of looks like this project's falling off the table, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think my camera stand lost a screw, and so it keeps tilting, so I apologize. So now I'm going to lay these back on, and then once I find that they're all in the right spots, I will just take my hot glue gun and glue them down, and then that's it. The last step was I just turned it over and put a sawtooth hanger on the back, and then this was ready to hang. How did I decide which colors? Well, basically I just painted each one of the big snowflakes each color, and then it just kind of kept going from there. So it's kind of fun having all the different sizes of the snowflakes. Again, I got all but like 2 of them from Dollar Tree, and I think this would work even without those. So that's it. I have them all laid out, hot glue them down, and this project is complete. I saw this sign at Hobby Lobby. I actually was going to treat myself to that sign, and I'm glad I didn't because it was expensive and I was able to recreate it. So I'm starting with this 18-inch round chalkboard sign that I got from Chalk Couture, but I did check at Hobby Lobby and they had a circle sign this size, and it just wasn't on sale, so I didn't grab it, and then I remembered I had this in my stash. So I've just taped off here, and I'm going to try to make this look like wood, and I think I succeeded. So I'm using Waverly chalk paint in hazelnut, and I'm going to give it 2 to 3 coats right here. So again, this sign I'm kind of doing it the opposite, where I feel like the Hobby Lobby one was probably wood and then they painted it black. So you can totally do that. Get a wood one, and you're just going to do the opposite. You're going to tape it off, and then you'll paint it black and leave the wood. And so I'm just going to rub a little bit of Waverly Antique Wax with my chip brush just to give it that wood grain look.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman
And then I went to my Cricut and I cut out Merry Christmas. The Christmas font is Cream Candy, and the Merry font is Aldine 721 BT.
We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day.
Okay, now I'm just going to take this pick. This particular one is from Michael's. I got it in a grab bag like 2 years ago, and I think it costs about 20 cents, so it was a score. So I'm just peeling off some of the stems there. I don't want to use the red berries. I just want to keep this really neutral. And so I am just going to cut this down and adhere it down with hot glue. Before I do that, I do want to make the top of the ornament, and luckily Dollar Tree has come out now with these corrugated metal shapes. So I'm using this one. It's kind of an oval. They have stars and squares and like just all these really cool shapes now. And I was like, this is perfect to go as the top of my ornament. So I'm going to use partially E6000 as well as hot glue. I want this to be really sturdy. So this video you're going to see is, like I said, it's all Hobby Lobby inspired. But also, it's going to have a certain theme, and that is what my theme is going to be this year, and that is black and white and wood and green. So that's my theme this year. I have done red buffalo check and buffalo check rustic the last 2 years. So this year I wanted to kind of just change it up a little, and I'm going to go more with the woodsy rustic theme. So I'm still going to have white and black buffalo check, but I will be getting rid of the reds and the red buffalo check. So I definitely need some new decor, and so I am in love with how all these projects turned out because they will be all in my new decor this year. So I'm going to go ahead and use this ribbon. This ribbon is my favorite. It comes out at Christmas. I've bought it the last 2 years because it works so good for farmhouse projects year round. It's definitely not Christmas. It works for Christmas, but it works year round. So I'm just going to make 2 loops here, and this is kind of like my cheater bow. I just make 2 loops, then I cut the tails, and then I just adhere them all together with a zip tie. So I put the smaller loop on top of the big loop. I decide how long I want my tails, and then I just double that. That's how I make my bow, cheater bow. This is kind of a hard thing to put a bow on because the greenery is kind of thick. The sample, the inspiration does not have a bow, but I wanted a bow. And that's why it's called an inspiration piece and not a dupe, because I'm not making it exactly the same. So once I get that bow down, this project's done, and it's a nice big statement piece. I absolutely love it, and I hope you like it too.
Chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town.
So LTD Commodities is a company I absolutely love ordering from. I've been ordering from them for like 20 years. So I get the catalog, and I had pulled that out for some inspiration. I'm going to make a much smaller version. I do want to make a big version, but for now I just made this smaller version. So I took 3 of the square planks from Dollar Tree. I believe they come in a pack of 5 or 6. And then I took 2 of these, the rectangle ones that also come in like a pack of 5 or 6. So this one I'm just going to cut it in half. It is going to be a little bit skinnier Then the piece that you see at the top left, that one just already happened to be cut out from another project, so I'm just using it as is. It's a little long, so again, I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. So you saw me use my X-Acto knife. I had to do that more on the longer ones, but when it's a shorter piece like this, I just used my miter shears, which are a lot easier to use, a lot quicker. I'm not a very strong person, so if I can get it to cut down, I think you can too. Okay, so I went into my scrapbook stash and I tried to match the paper as best as I could. So that bottom one there looks type wood, and it looked like it had wood snowflakes, and so that first one there, I cut out the snowflakes on my Cricut, and I just add them down to that white paper, add the black paper down to the strips, and as you can see, that's what it looks like. And then I just made a little twine bow that I will add to the package. Okay, for the next present, again, just 2 pieces of paper that I thought looked a lot like that, and then I cut Christmas out in this font on my Cricut. Now for the third present, again, 2 more pieces of scrapbook paper and Mary in this font. Okay, so for the top bow, I copied the one as best as I could by doing 2 loops, so one smaller than the other, and then onto a tail. Then I'll just tie those all together with some of this jute. And then for the back, a little jute hanger. And as you can see, this is how the project came together. It was super simple. I just glued the packages together with my hot glue gun, and that is it. So of course this is a smaller version, but this cost around $3 to make. Okay, so I went on Google and I found the lyrics to Away in the Manger, and I'm also going to use one of these little houses from Dollar Tree. Now I printed this out on my printer, and I just used kind of a cream colored paper. It happens to be like resume paper, so any paper, if you only have white, you can always like distress it and make it a different color. I've seen people use like tea bags and things like that. So I'm just going to cut it out. I tried to get, you know, the majority of the lyrics on there so you could kind of tell what song it was, but I will be covering up some of it. Super simple project. I just take my glue stick and glue it down. And then I went to my Cricut and I searched up Nativity. I found a lot of different ones that I thought were really cute. I actually cut out 3 different ones because I wasn't sure which one I'd want, and I ended up thinking that this one looked best on the house. So I just sized it to be the size of the house here, and just place it down. This is so simple, and I liked the house shape. The reason I picked it was because I kind of felt like it looked like it was in, you know, the place that they were in when he was born. And then I'm just gonna go around with my chalk ink here in black and just kind of give it a little bit of a border. Now you could add like some paint sticks to the top so that it, you know, gave it kind of a barn shelter look. I think that would look good too. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lisa and I love to craft, and I'm so excited that you're here. You can really help my channel out by liking this video, commenting, subscribing, and even sharing on your social media. And I just really appreciate all of your support. Also, you can find me over on Instagram, where my name is $__mom. And my dog is going crazy on me right now. Anyhow, over there I share all my DIYs, hauls, how I decorate, and other fun mom and budget friendly items. So I hope you'll join me over there. Again, these DIYs are so easy to recreate, And this one, I'm just going to take one of the houses from Dollar Tree. And then I just had, and I'm going to just take some of this buffalo check. I'm not, this is going to be the back side, but I just want to have it finished. I don't want pink on the back. I'm just going to take my Faux black chalk paint and cover that house. And then I just have this little wood house that I picked up somewhere along the way, and I'm going to cover that in Waverly Antique Wax. I have these bells also from Hobby Lobby, just got them this year, again 40% off. I need some twine, and I just happen to have that little snowflake. So what you're seeing here is I actually am adding a whole new little house that wasn't in the inspiration, but that I thought went well with this. So after my house is painted in black, I'm just taking a strip of the buffalo check paper and I'm just going to glue it around the house. Now you could use ribbon as well. I think maybe I would use ribbon now looking back. I just think it might give it a little higher end look, but this worked just well, just like the inspiration piece. Once I get that glued down, I'm going to take my twine and wrap it around several times and make a little twine bow.
Busy saying ho ho ho, we're feeling jolly, eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi to every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry Christmas Day. Oh, yeah. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before. As we walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Yeah. A Merry Christmas Day. Dancing around the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas. Dancing around the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas. Dancing around the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas Day.
I'm going to take this sled from Dollar Tree and cover it in Antique Wax by Waverly. And then I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum chalk paint and linen and I'm going to dry brush it onto the J and the Y here. Now I was pretty excited because I found them for 15 cents in the clearance section at Hobby Lobby, so make sure you check that out. In my store, it's the very back corner. So I was pretty impressed with myself that my J and Y match my snowflake perfectly. The snowflake was in my stash. I want to say it came in a kit that I got at the Target Dollar Spot last year. So all I'm going to do is just glue the J and the Y down and then add my snowflake. So they're a little big, but I actually like, you know, kind of the big chunky look of this. I was really excited to find the sleds this year at Dollar Tree. They had 3 different looks to the sleds, so that's fun. I'll have another 2 sleds to make. Because it had a hole in it, because the snowflake was like a hanging, like an ornament, I tied the tiniest little bow with my jute cord and put it over the hole. Now I'm using some ribbons that I got from Stampin' Up. I will try to link those below if they're still current. And I loved this like twisted cord with the green in it, and so it fit perfectly. I'm not even sure why there's little holes there, but it worked perfect because I could just thread this through. And then I'm going to take some of my other ribbons and make a little bow, and this ornament is complete. Now, I have never been into like really big ornaments, and so this year my tree was just boring, and I was like, it needs something. And so I put it out on Instagram, asked my followers, what does it need? And they all said big, chunky ornaments. And I took their advice, and it looks amazing. So I will I will show how my Christmas tree turned out at the end of this video. I'm going to take these skates from Dollar Tree and paint them up. I used Moss Waverly for the main part of the skate. I used some, gosh, I don't know, it's like a hazelnut, I think, for the brown, and steel for the silver. And I'm going to go ahead and grab these ribbons. So this ribbon is really fun that I got at Hobby Lobby this year, $7.99, and I got it for half off. And it's a huge roll. It's going to last a really long time. Again, this is another ribbon. The white ribbon there, I think, is also from Hobby Lobby. No, Celebrate It is Michael's. So that was from Michael's. I got that on clearance. Same with the Snowflake ribbon. Okay, and so this sled, which I meant to show first, and I apologize, but the sled is from the Target Dollar Spot. This sled was $3, really good price. As you can see, I just crisscrossed that white ribbon over that fun, I don't even know what you would call that, kind of like a mesh ribbon. And then I just make a circle there with my snowflake because I don't want this to have big tails. I want it, you know, not to cover the skates. So I just glue the skates down, glue the bow on, which I put this gray trim ribbon around the center to finish it off, and that's it. Such a fast, easy makeover. I thought those skates were so high end from Dollar Tree, so this whole project was just a little over $4. I knew this project would be very easy. I picked up a sheet of paper here from Hobby Lobby. It's just like a handmade paper type, and it comes in 12 by 12. I didn't have a big enough frame in my stash, so I did rip it down to 8 by 8. I just printed off this Joy to the World off my Cricut, but you could just feed this paper right through your printer and just print it on there. So that would be way easy. If you don't have a Cricut, just feed the paper through, and you can get it on the paper. Whew, I could not think of my words there. The font that I'm using is JMH typewriter, and I got that off defont.com. So again, you can print it right onto your paper. All I'm doing now is just using my glue stick and gluing it down to this. This particular frame is from Michael's, but I got it like 2 years ago. You can use any frame and just take out the backing to it, and that's it. So it's a very inexpensive project to make. That's it. Look how easy that is. I love it. It's going to go so well into my decor. Another really easy project, I just took one of these green tree ornaments from the Target Dollar Spot, as well as these 3 wood pieces that I got from, I think it's called Crafty Peeps, but I will link it below, but you could cut any kind of wood. And then this ornaments are $3.99 at Hobby Lobby, and I got them for 40% off, and I painted it white. I also sanded off the glitter on the side of the tree, and I painted it with the Waverly Antique Wax. Now on two of the trees, I just put some scrapbook paper. Both of those are from Hobby Lobby. One looks like metal. Obviously, the other one is buffalo check. I'm just going to take this scrap piece of wood, also covered with Waverly Antique Wax, and then just glue these trees on. Super easy, quick project. I know I went through that fast, but I know you know how to paint and Mod Podge, and that's all that I did here. And I just think it turned out really cute. As you can see, I changed it up a little bit from the inspiration piece at Hobby Lobby. It just so happened that that ornament fit perfect on the tree. I hadn't originally planned that, but I thought it added a lot to it.
Under the mistletoe,
I was really excited to find this metal mailbox for letters to Santa. It is functional, but I really only want it to be decorative. It was $5. I also heard that the slot is very sharp, so don't touch that. I guess it can really hurt you. So I saw Leonep over at DIY Beauty on Purpose. She dressed up her letters to Santa box, and I was like, ooh, I've got to do that too. I'm going to link her video below where she did that. She had a different colored box, and I think you will get even more inspiration from her. So simply just tying a regular bow. I have 2 pieces of greenery here. They came from stems from Michael's, and I'm just going to glue them down, one on the side and one across the top. Now, metal and hot glue don't always go great together, but that's okay because I may want to change this up next year, and so I will just be able to pop it right off. I grabbed these ornaments from Walmart. They were $1.98 for 4. And then the little reindeer ornaments, I believe, are from the 99-cent store. They may be from Dollar General. No, they're from the 99-cent store. So I'm just going to take one of those reindeers and I'm going to glue it to this little Mary ornament, glue it down, add my bow, and voila, all done. And it really stepped up how this little mailbox works. And it really fits better in my decor now than it did just by itself. So again, go check out Leonep's video for more inspiration on this project.
jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the Snowman is all around town.
I picked up 2 of these shutters from the Target Dollar Spot. They are $3 each. The problem is they both go the same way. So that Z is the same. You can't flip it upside down. So it really isn't going to work kind of as a twofer. So I had to figure out what to do with just one of these. I have this little, it says it's a candle ring from Dollar General, only $1. And I actually think I paid like 10 cents for it because I bought it on clearance last year. And then I have this ribbon up here from Michael's, and then an ornament from Dollar Tree. This is a quick, fast makeover, and I was really surprised how much I loved it when I was finished. It was kind of not that round, so I was just kind of making it a little bit rounder right there. I glue it to the top and the bottom there. I add this little ornament hanging down and a simple bow, and that's it. Project complete. These Dollar Spot items from Target are so easy to make over. You just add a few elements and it just takes it up quite a notch. So this project cost me, we'll say $5 to make. And I think it looks really high-end. It is something I would actually buy in a store, so I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh,
I also styled this with the Christmas tree shelf from Target, as well as that green tree lantern, and I think it just looks great all together. Don't forget to check the kids section at the dollar spot. There's usually some really fun paint your own projects. Look how cute these little wooden houses are, and I love that it had that tall one. Okay, so then I'm grabbing some of these Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. You get 3 tall ones and 3 short ones. So I love the variation of sizes. So I'm going to take my little, what I say looks like a cabin, and I'm going to paint the top with antique wax. I'm going to paint the main house with moss from Waverly. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to take my cloche here, which I should have showed you first, but this is the base of the cloche. So what I'm going to do is cut out a piece of cardboard, and everything is going to be on this, so I can take it in and out, and I can use the cloche for other seasons. Now, since the glass it comes in about a 1/2 inch, so I just made little 1/2 inch marks around, and I'm going to cut it smaller there. Okay, so this is a fun item, also from the Target dollar spot. It is faux snow, and you get a ton of this. So what you do is you take 1/4 teaspoon and you put that down into your bowl. No, I have that wrong. 1 teaspoon, and you put that down in your bowl, and you add 1/4 cup of water. That's it. I thought you might have to stir it, but you do not have to stir it. And the powder instantly becomes a powdery snow. So it's really neat. Look at how quick that just turned into snow. I just kind of shake it around. It's my first time trying and using it. It's a really, really fun thing to have. So, 1 teaspoon, you can make so much snow out of that one little jar. So what I'm going to do is, now that I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so now you see my little cabin here is painted, and I felt like if I'm going to use snow, then I'm going to have a little bit snow on the roof of my cabin. So I'm just going to take my sponge and sponge on white paint. This is just regular white acrylic paint that I sponge on. You can use chalk paint too. I just had quick access to this acrylic paint. Once I do that, I'm going to glue everything down to that little piece of cardboard. Now, don't do what I did. I have to make my mistakes here for you so you know what not to do. So don't put the snow down first. I thought it would look more natural if I put the snow down first and then glued the 2 trees in the cabin, but it won't stick to where the snow was. So I do end up kind of having to wipe off the snow and then reapply. No big deal. It was really easy fix. But I'm just taking regular old Elmer's glue and sprinkling the snow over the top here so I would have a snow base. But again, I'm going to have to kind of reassess here in a second. So while I'm doing this and while you're watching, so I saw this pretty cloche, and I hope I'm saying that right, at the Target dollar spot, and I want to say it was $5. It was $3 or $5, and I apologize that I don't remember. But I thought I really wanted something snowy, and I don't want us to be just a one-time use just at Christmas. So I was like, oh, I will just put whatever I make on top of a piece of cardboard. That way I can just pull it right out after Christmas, and then I can do something for Valentine's Day, or maybe just something kitchen-y that'll look in my kitchen, just anything really. So it's just a fun, see, there's where it fell off because you can't glue it to the snow. And because it was just Elmer's glue, I could just wipe it right off. No biggie. I'm just going to add more glue to it and more snow, and this is how it turned out, and a couple of different ways I styled it. It's kind of a hard thing to get a picture of because, it's that glass plastic, but I really think it turned out cute. I'm going to make over this Dollar Tree unfinished wood tree, and I'm going to use some scrapbook paper that I got out of a Christmas paper pad. If I can find it, I'll link it below. I am not kidding you guys. I have at least 10 to 15 Christmas paper pads. That's not counting just the regular Christmas paper I bought by the sheet, but that's how many paper pads I have because I have a paper addiction. So I have enough Christmas paper to last me in a lifetime of Christmas crafting. So I will link it if I can still find it. I think I bought it last year, so we may be good. So I'm just going to cut the tree out as you see here, and I will glue it down onto our unfinished piece of wood. You'll see that that checkered print paper. I was going to use it, and then I decided against it. So I'm just using this black Snowflake paper, and I'm just trying to give a real neutral DIY look here. And so I grabbed a tag from the paper pack. Again, you could just cut that out of a piece of printed paper or plain paper. And then I grabbed two of the ornaments off of those that I showed you earlier, and some ribbon that I also had picked up from Walmart. And I'm just going to embellish this tree. It's very simple, but I'm just kind of using my old school paper crafting techniques on this, which is just kind of to add several embellishments and just give it that fun. It's simple, yet it looks super high end. And so I'll just keep decorating this until I'm finished. These ornament signs from Dollar Tree are some of my favorite to make over. I mean, they're cute on their own, but there's just an endless possibilities of how to make them over. So I'm going to use two more sheets of scrapbook paper from that pack I showed you previously, and I'm going to use some of this contact paper to put across the background. Dollar Tree does carry several of these. They have this one that looks like wood, and they have another one that's just kind of a creamy with some splattering. But the one I use, I did buy off Amazon, and I will link it below. I use it on tons of projects. It's a very good deal. And I kind of like using contact paper because it's so easy because it's already sticky. So it's just a really quick way to add a background to a project. And so I'm just going to cut this out. I will stick it down, and then I'll cut around the ornament to finish it off. Now the one thing that I do regret slightly on this is I would have put the wood panel looking horizontally instead of vertically. I mean, it still looks good vertically, but I probably would have done it horizontally if I were to make it again. Okay, so now I'm going to cover this Dollar Tree wood truck in paper. Not a huge fan of painting, so if I can cover it in paper, I'm gonna. So I'm just taking a little bit of this green pattern paper, and I'll trace around my tree and then I'll cut it out and Mod Podge it onto this truck. And then I'll take the red plaid and I will trace the truck around with that one. Okay, so now that I have my truck cut out, now I'm just going to take really any tool you want. This edge works great. I'm going to go ahead and rub around the 3D surfaces. So what this will do is it'll kind of make a bend in my paper, and it will give me a guideline of where I can cut with my X-Acto knife. X-Acto knives are kind of one of those things where I say don't go too cheap, although I haven't tried the Dollar Tree one. Maybe it's great. I don't know. But I have a really nice X-Acto knife, and I think that makes a difference, especially when you're going to cut these out. So again, I'm just kind of rubbing around. You could actually just rub around with your finger. I just have this Dollar Tree tool that I love, and it really helps. So once I have rubbed around all the edges that are 3D, I will move it to my cutting mat, and I will cut them out with my X-Acto knife. And trace around those spots. I'm being a little bit nitpicky here. I think it looks fine the way it is, but if you just want to go that extra mile and get every detail, then that's what I'm doing right here. So I just want to add a little something to my truck door. You could put like a little wreath on it. I had these cute ornaments from Walmart in my stash here. You've seen me use a lot of little Walmart items, and I just thought this one says like tree farm. It's just perfect. So I'm going to glue that to the door. I'll glue my truck down to the ornament. I'm going to add a couple of these bows. They're just the simple tire shoe type of bows. Again, refer to my bow video if you need a little more help on those. So I love these garland covered items that Dollar Tree sells for every holiday because they have a really good base underneath. And so I'm not a fan of how they look as is, not my style, but you can take all of this tinsel garland, whatever you want to call it, off, and you get this plastic base. And then when you cover it in twine, it just gives it this really great rustic farmhouse look, and it's super easy and inexpensive to do. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's nothing hard to do. Okay, so as you see here, we're getting down to this plastic base. Now the base is two pieces that are being held together by all this garland. I typically will, in this case, since I'm going to put it on a sign, I'm only going to use half of it because I don't need the bulk of it being 3D. If it's something I'm going to have standing, like some of their Christmas trees and different things they have, then I'll use both pieces. But since I don't need them this way, I can just pull them apart. So actually, I could make two signs out of this. I'm making it look difficult, but they pop apart really easy. Like I said, I've got a wounded finger. It makes things way more difficult. And then they also have these little like pokes. I don't know how to describe these little knobs, I guess would be on the outside. That's what was holding that tinsel in place. And so I'm just going to cut those off. And I was using my wire cutters here until I realized how soft these were. And then I just moved over to scissors, and it was way easier just to use my scissors. It's a very, very soft plastic. I've had other ones that are a little harder, and I've used the wire cutters, and so that's why I started out with those, but this particular one only needed to use my scissors. So I'm just going to cut off those little nubs that go all the way around to have a flat surface, and then I'm just going to string that twine all the way around and use some hot glue in a couple places to keep it in place, and then I will get to the next step of the project. Okay, and now that the candy canes are covered, we'll move on to the sign. So I picked this up from Dollar Tree. The reason I liked this sign and I picked it up is because it has that frame backing on it. I like that because it can stand up on my tabletop decor without needing to be leaned up against the wall. I tend to make a lot of signs that are kind of flat and they need to stand up against something. And so this way, this one can stand alone, and I really like that idea. It's a really cute sign. I found it over in their little girly section that they have with all the unicorns and mermaid stuff. And what I just cut off there was a string with paper clips, no, clothespins on it, that I think is meant to just be able to hang some pictures or something like that. So I'm using another one of the gift boxes that I found in a 3-pack. I just liked it for the print. I kind of want to show you some different options if you don't want to go beyond Dollar Tree. If you just want to stick there, don't want scrapbook paper or not. So this is a box that you can use for a background. Don't count out fabric, which I'm going to use on the next DIY. Just kind of like to show you some options there. And I just really liked that this was kind of like a gray buffalo check. I really liked that. And since it's a little thicker, it covers the sign better. I don't have to do anything to the sign like sand it or paint it or do anything like that. So as you see, I'm just going to glue that down. And then once that's glued down, I'm going to start embellishing my candy cane. And I'm going to get out some of these ribbons. I have this huge thing of ribbon here that I got from Michael's last year after Christmas. It's normally $17. I can't imagine paying $17 for ribbon, but I'm pretty sure I got it for either 80 or 90% off. And it's a giant roll, so I'm going to have to think of a big project to use for it. And so I'm just kind of grabbing some of the ribbons out of my stash. Again, I get these for 80 or 90% off after the season is over. And then the next year I have so much fun to play with. It's so fun. So I'm just taking 3 different ribbons here and kind of just tying them all together, coming up with something here. And then I thought I was going to be done with just putting a bow on. But then I remembered I have those ornaments again from Walmart, and I found the perfect one that I thought went with this so well. And so I'll add that one to it. And then at the end of this project, I realized that I just don't love the way that the borders of this project look. It's just, I don't know. So I decided to sand the edges, and I think that made a big difference. It finished the edges, it gave it a little bit of a rustic edge because it goes down to the white paper. And so that is how I finished off this project. This is just a quick DIY sign. I picked this up from the dollar spot at Target. I have some ribbon, and I just did another thing on my Cricut. It says naughty, and I gnome it. So this was just a fun, quick thing to add to this gnome decor. I think I'm going to do just a gnome themed tree. Again, me and my clearance shopping, I bought some trees, some little tiny ones after Christmas. And so I haven't even seen them out of the box, but I'm going to do one in gnomes. So I'm just going to add this little ribbon bow to the top, and then I decided that the bottom just needed a little something extra, so I glued the same ribbon down at the base. To make this faux birchwood candle holder, this is a new item that I just found at Dollar Tree recently, along with this lightweight spackling also from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to start grabbing some of this and rubbing it onto this. I guess this would probably be a pencil holder. It was in their craft section and it's really nice looking. And they also had it in square. And so I'm just going to just push it down, and it doesn't stick super great. You're going to see little pieces fall off, but if you just take your fingertips, push down, and just go slowly around it, it does stick, and it will look so neat. Just wait and see. And once it's dried, I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of sandpaper and I am going to lightly, and I mean very lightly, sand this down. It has a really neat texture, but there's some little pokies and things, so I'm just barely touching it with the sandpaper, and it just smooths it out perfectly. And now I'm going to cover it with a cashew colored paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to put that around the whole thing. And this kind of seals it in, kind of helps with the dust that was coming off of it. And now I'm going to take hazelnut, and I'm just going to make a very light line onto this, and this is where we're gonna make that faux birchwood. And at first I found that I was using too thick of a brush. I end up switching it out, but it's okay if you make a little bit of a mistake like I just did. It actually, I end up doing it more on purpose because it makes just a deeper brown going around it, and it makes it look like it has some depth. So here I just go for that really straight tipped brush, and it makes for the lines to be much thinner. So I'm just going to play around here. I'm going to go around making these little marks, and then I'm going to darken up some spots, and then lastly I'm going to make that where it kind of looks like the wood is peeling away and you've revealed kind of that dark black spot. Here's where I just do that little darker spot. I play around with some of the colors to give it that depth and just how the birchwood looks. To finish off, I just put this little piece of pool noodle in and some of this Spanish moss on top. You really could put anything you want inside. This just seemed to fit perfect. And then once that's on there, I just put this little battery operated tea light right on top and set it inside. And it makes the cutest and most rustic looking birchwood candle holder. Okay, so this last project really doesn't feel like much of a DIY, but I picked up this cute sign from Dollar General for $1, and this sign from Walmart for 98 cents that you saw at the very beginning of the video. I just thought, yeah, I'm just going to pop it off right here. I just thought this little easel stand was so cute. I knew that it didn't go with my decor, even though it's super cute. And so what I go ahead and do, just pop off that from the stake, glue it to this sign, and now I just have a new tabletop decor. And so for $2, I made this. Realize not a whole lot of problems here, but it's the way you can marry two items to make it something that works for you. Okay, this is my favorite project of this video. So I'm using one of these decor pieces from the Dollar Tree. And then I found these cute little gnome ornaments on a site called Craft Deals. I got all sorts of gnome unfinished wood, and they have a bunch of other unfinished wood. So I will definitely link that below. A very affordable pricing. So yeah, the site is amazing. So anyhow, I'm going to take apart this truck. I'm going to take the tree off. And then after I do that, I'm going to sand off the Merry Christmas glitter. And since that's going to leave kind of a, a film afterwards, then I'm just going to cover it with a coat of red chalk paint. Okay, I wish I knew which DIYer I saw with this little ladybug vacuum. That totally influenced me to buy one. But anyhow, it totally vacuums up your glitter or any little, pieces. It's a must. It's a must to have. I want to say it's like $10. I will link that below too. Okay, and as you can see, I already painted my truck. I painted it with the crimson red paint, chalk paint, and now I'm going to use this ivory chalk paint to paint my gnome beards. For their hats, I had some of this buffalo check, just scrap ribbon that, I can't throw the scraps away, so I'm just using a little bit of this detailed glue that I got from Dollar Tree, and then I'm just going to glue this piece of ribbon as their hat, and then I will just cut around it. I found a couple pink beads in my stash, so I thought those would make cute noses. You could use little mini pom-poms. You could just draw the nose on, so all sorts of little things. And then I did have some of these white pom-poms, and I just kind of cut it down and roll it to use on the tip of his hat. So with my Cricut, I cut out the words "rollin' with my gnomies." And so I'm just going to add that to the front of this truck. Okay, here's where clearance shopping comes in handy. I got this sign for 49 cents at Ross. This was like, who knows how far past Christmas, but way past Christmas, and it was still in their stuff. And it's a cute sign. I don't really have much green in my decor, but so I could just cover this with a coat of black paint to cover up the words, but I was kind of getting tired by this point. So I just used a piece of black cardstock and I just glued that piece of cardstock down. And then I'm just going to kind of start, once I get this piece down, I'm going to glue my truck on. I'm going to glue my gnomes back in the truck and add a bow, and this project will be complete. This is a new sign that I found at Dollar Tree. I love it. This is Snowflake. It's from Michael's. It was on sale for $1, and some more of these ornaments from Walmart, as well as some more of the antique wax and some ribbon. And what I love about this Snowflake is that it already has that whitewash rusticness to it, so I didn't even have to do anything. So that was pretty great. So first you're just going to cover this little wooden sign with this antique wax. And once that's done, it's just a matter of gluing everything down. So I just hot glue down the snowflake, then the little ornament charm and a bow, and that is it. This project is done. Super fast, super quick, but it looks really amazing. For this last project, I'm going to make over this cute little tabletop sign. It's one of my favorites to make over, and I'm going to use this Dollar Tree ornament that comes in a pack of 5. I love the ornaments they put out this year, the wood ones. They've got that laser cut, and they just look really high end. So I was excited about that. And it fits perfectly on that good morning. So I'm just going to pop that off. It comes out so easily. And then I'm going to cover that pink background in this scarf that I also got from Dollar Tree last year. And so I'll just cut that square bigger than the square that's there, and I'll wrap it like a present. And that backing pops off pretty easily as well. I thought I might be able to save the little hanging part. What do they call that? A sawtooth hanger. I could save that without having to take it off, but I did have to unscrew it and take it off to pop this out. So again, once I get that popped out, I will put the fabric onto the back. I'm going to paint this ornament in Crimson by Waverly. I keep forgetting that I am like totally out of this paint, so I'm going to just make it work, get enough out to cover this. Thankfully, chalk paint covers really well with not a lot, so I need to remember to go get some more. And I was even at Walmart, darn it, but you know that's how it goes. You always forget. And then I'm going to use the Waverly black chalk paint. Actually, I think it's called ink, and cover this good morning part of this sign. For this first project, I'm going to use one of these sleds from Dollar Tree. They're cute on their own. I'm going to rustic this one up. And some of the tree stems, branch stems, whatever you want to call them, from Dollar Tree. 2 sheets of this scrapbook paper, and this stem that I picked up from Joann's. It, I believe, is normally $3.99. I got it for like $1 last year, but any stem will do. So I'm going to trace out this sled, that's hard to say, not shed, but sled, on this piece of paper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the sled all the way to the right on this paper. It's really important that you do this on both pieces so that your lines match up. And I'm just going to grab a piece of sanding paper here and just sand off that lovely glitter. And then I will use some Mod Podge and I will put the scrapbook paper on top of the sled. Because this is a little bit thicker wire on the stem, I'm going to use my tin snips. I will link a pair of them below. They definitely help me out because I do have weaker hands, so I need a little bit stronger of a tool, and so these work great. As you can see, just plops it right off. I'm going to use one of these little branches. I call them branches. I'm not even sure what you call them. But anyhow, they have wire inside of them, so you can manipulate them to whatever shape you like. And I am just going to put it there at the top of the portion of my sled. And then my bow will go on top of that. And so now I'm going to go ahead and get some ribbon out. This is some ribbon I picked up last year. I picked up so much clearance ribbon. I highly recommend buying on clearance after the season. It was like, I mean, we're doing Christmas, but it was like Christmas opening up all my ribbon I bought for super cheap last year. So anyhow, for this type of ribbon, I am just going to make a loop by gluing the two ends together, and then I will gather it in the middle, and I'm going to make 2 of those loops. Okay, now I'm going to lay the shorter loop on top of the longer loop. I'm going to cut just a little piece of the ribbon here to cinch around the center, as you can see, just like that. And I will glue that together. Okay, now my ribbon needs some tails, so I'm going to cut a long strip. And I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the edges of both the sides, the edges, both of this ribbon, and then I will just kind of cinch it there in the middle. And I'm just going to take a little piece of twine and tie it just so it stays. I don't always do that, but this time I just feel like it was going to stay better if I did that. And then I'll glue it to the back of the bow. Okay, now it's just a matter of gluing all this down, and then this cute rustic sled is all complete. Okay, this is a super simple DIY. I picked these up at the Dollar Tree. I had them both out because I wasn't sure which frame I was going to use, but I do go with the black. And then I just Googled a gnome, Christmas gnome clip art, and this is what I found. And I just printed it out on my computer, and I'm just going to put it inside this sign and add a little bow, and this will be a cute little piece of art. I did write on there the size. It says 4.75 inches. It's just a hair smaller than that. It's like 4.65 inches is what the measurements are for the inside of this sign. Okay, so this is a super, super, super easy DIY. I almost feel like I'm cheating, but I got this pack of 3 gift boxes at Dollar Tree. So you're getting 3 for $1, okay? And then I just grabbed one of their, I think, what is that? Oh yeah, 8 by 10 frames. And it's not quite 8 by 10, but it does work. And so I just cut it down and put it into the frame, and it's like instant Christmas decor. Now, of course, I'm not just going to leave it like that. I am going to embellish it. But talk about easy and inexpensive. So the frame was $1, and then what, 33 cents for this part of the box? I mean, so inexpensive. I wanted to make all of them up to show them for you guys, but I was only able to get to one of these as I was on a time crunch before surgery happened. At first, I leave the glass in, and then I take the glass out and kind of decide the look. I prefer it with the glass out. I just think it gives it more of a sign look than a picture, and that's just the way I chose to go with it. But you can do it either way, whatever floats your boat. Again, it's cardboard, so it sticks in there really, really well. See, look at that. That's it. Fast craft. But of course, I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to add a bow. And then I decide that a bow isn't just quite enough because that's still just a little too easy. So I just grabbed one of those Walmart ornaments, added that to it, and I just think it just took this to another level, and it cost under $2. And as you can see, I'm wearing the lovely hospital bracelet because they make you wear it a whole week before your actual surgery. So isn't that silly? But anyhow, and then I also like almost tore my fingernail off, so that's what that big old band-aid is on my finger. I tell you, I'm a falling apart. And so I was rushing to get these done before I went in for that surgery. Again, the surgery went great. I'm recovering. I'm doing well. Just going to take me a little bit to get back to normal. But I can sit on the couch here and I can voice over these DIYs for you. But again, I'm really surprised with how this turned out. I thought it might look cheesier, but I think it just turned out really good. What do you think? For these next projects, I'm going to use these 2 signs from Dollar Tree, and I will be painting both of them. I'm going to start out with this Candy Cane Lane sign here, and I'm just going to cover it with 2 coats of white chalk paint, and this will become our base. For the Mary sign, I want to give it a galvanized look, and so I'm going to take some of the white chalk paint and some of the black, and I'm just going to make a gray color. I had poured all this out, and then I had a fan next to my desk and it kind of dried it, so it got a little bit gloppy here. But once I find a gray that I like, I will cover the whole thing in that base color first. And once that has been covered, now I'm just going to kind of take little pieces here of white, black. I'm not going to mix it really good. I kind of want it on my brush messy. And then I'm just going to pounce it onto this sign here, and it's going to give it that galvanized look. And I just start pouncing around. If I have too much black, I'll add white. If I have too much white, I'll add black. And then if it starts, one area just doesn't look right, I'll pounce some just gray back onto it, and I just do this onto the whole sign, and it will give it that metal look. Again, I'm just going to keep playing around with these colors, just tapping and tapping until I get the look I want. And now I want to write the word Christmas on our base, and just to give you an idea of some options you have at Dollar Tree, there's stickers, there's rub-ons, all sorts of things. Well, I didn't have enough S's in my rub-ons, so I went into my scrapbook stash and I found these alphabet stickers in there. They're a little bit raised, and I end up using these, which you can find these at Michael's and Joann's and Hobby Lobby, and I even think Walmart has them too. So you can find alphabet stickers pretty much anywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and line those up on and stick them down. I didn't stick them all the way down at first just to make sure that I had my spacing correct. And then once I do that, I'm going to take some more of that twine and wrap it around my edges. This will tie in nicely with the last project we made. And lastly, I will just hot glue this Mary onto our base, and then this project is complete. For this project, I'm going to use some scrapbook paper from this pad here. It's from Craftsmart, and it's called Evergreen Cabin. I picked it up at Michael's last year. It's just like the perfect rustic scrapbook paper. And then I'm using one of these mason jar signs from Dollar Tree. And these are oh gosh, yardsticks from Walmart. They're 98 cents. And they just have the cutest plaques on the top, and I just pop them right off. So the ones that I've already popped off, these are from last year's that I bought a bunch of. I just thought they were so cute, and for 98 cents, they make such a cute thing. So the two with the sticks on them still are from this year. And then some of this buffalo check burlap that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's normally $9.99. Almost always half off, and I made so many Christmas projects with it last year, so it's a really good buy. Okay, so I'm just going to get this mason jar sign ready for this project. It's really good if you buy the fall ones and not this Halloween one, because you have to rip that thing off. Anyhow, I just painted that lid with a black chalk paint because, you know, obviously purple is not going to work for us. Alright, and so now I'm just tracing out the shape of the mason jar on that scrapbook paper, and then I'm just going to Mod Podge it down. I know this is going kind of fast, but it's pretty basic, and I think you guys following along here know that I love to Mod Podge scrapbook paper to projects. Okay, and so I'm just going to smooth that down, and then our mason jar is ready to decorate. Okay, so I'm taking that burlap that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. Again, that goes such a long way, like such a long way. So I just cut a strip and I'm just gluing it around this mason jar, and this will be the background of the little plaque that you can choose from any of the ones that you might have grabbed from Walmart, or any other ornament, little piece of sign that you may have picked up. Any of those things will work to complete this project. But yeah, I'm totally in love with those garden stakes, those little mini ones that Walmart makes for 98 cents. Such a good deal. Okay, now that I've got that settled, I'm going to take my twine here. I'm going to wrap it around the lid a few times and then just tie a simple bow. Another embellishment that would work on this is those silver words that Dollar Tree makes. They come in a 3-pack. I think they say like joy and believe and things like that. That would also look really cute on this project if you are able to make it to Walmart and get any of those plaques. Okay, right here I'm going to make one of my twine bows. I say I'm not the one that came up with it. It's just a cute bow that works well. And so if you need a slower tutorial on how to make this, you can check out my bow video, but they're very simple and effective. And once that's complete, it'll be time just to glue everything down, and then this project will be finished. And this is just a smaller mason jar, tabletop decor to accent the project we made previously. I picked that up from Dollar Tree, some little ornaments from Walmart, some more of this burlap buffalo check fabric, again from Hobby Lobby. And this little burlap star that I picked up from Hobby Lobby as well. It came in like a pack of 6, I want to say, in their ornament section. And it's like a really good deal. Makes great backgrounds for these projects. So I'm just going to take apart this twine off of this. I'm actually going to reuse it. So don't cut it or destroy it because it actually does come off fairly easily. And I am going to reuse it. And so once I get that off, I'm going to go ahead and just cut out a piece of this burlap to cover the mason jar. I will glue it down, and then I will cut around it to finish it off. And I'm going to just reattach this twine that was already on here and just wrap it around, glue it down, and it's really easy because you've already got a great embellishment and you didn't have to pay any extra for it. And now I'm just going to finish embellishing this little tabletop mason decor by attaching this burlap star and then just picking out one of these cute little ornaments off this sheet from Walmart and gluing that down. And then this cute project is also done. For this first project, we're going to use this Peace on Earth unfinished wood sign from Dollar Tree. One of their Christmas signs. We'll use the back. And I grabbed some of these bells. They were on clearance last year at Joann's. Some twine, some of these ornaments from Walmart, and some antique wax, and some white chalk paint, a little bit of wood filler, and then just any leaf or Christmas pick that you find. So first I'm just going to prep this sign. I'm going to use a little wood filler here on these little circles so that it will look like one complete sign. Once that dries and I can sand it down, then I will paint the whole sign with chalk paint. While that wood filler dries, I will go ahead and paint this sign with the antique wax. This stuff works so great. It looks like stain and it goes on really quick and dries really quick. And I just use a light hand, not too heavy. Again, I want it to look like stain. Now I'll just give this a light sand and cover this with white chalk paint. Again, I'm going to use a light hand. I'm not going to fully cover the sign. I'm going to kind of leave some spots that you can see the brown through it because I really want this to have kind of a distressed rustic look. Now I'm just going to attach this Peace on Earth sign, and I am going to make it go all the way to the right because on the left we are going to decorate that side. First, I'm going to take some of this twine and I'm going to wrap it around several times. I believe I do about 3 times here, and then I'll just tie it off in the back. I got this gorgeous pick from Michael's in the grab bag last year. I literally got like 15 of these in a $5 grab bag. It was amazing, and I want to say they're like $20 retail, which is crazy to me. But I just go ahead and I clip off a couple different types of leaves that were on there just to kind of find the one that I like best, and I go ahead and I pick this one, and so I will glue that down, and then I grab one of these wooden looking ornaments from Walmart. I am loving their ornaments this year, these little tiny ones. They make amazing embellishments. And so I'm just going to take this one here that looks like a tree and I think just fits absolutely perfect. And then again, one of these bells from Joann's. Again, I got these on clearance last year. I bought so many things like on super clearance, so this project is actually super inexpensive to make. So make sure you catch those after sales in January and get some good stuff for next year. So once I kind of decide that I like my design, I'll go ahead and attach everything down. Lastly, I'll just cut some of this wrapping paper from Dollar Tree just to finish off the back of the sign. All right, for this first project, I got some socks, a pack of popcorn, some rubber bands, one of the Dollar Tree gnomes, and some other little goodies here to make our gnomes. So I normally make my gnomes from scratch, but since the Dollar Tree had those super cute gnomes, which by the way I love and they don't need anything, but I need more gnomes, so gotta switch them up. So I'm gonna take this sock and I'm just gonna add some popcorn kernels. This is just gonna add weight. So you can use rice, rocks, I've used beans, so any of those things just to add some weight so your gnome can sit up. Okay, and I'm just gonna add some more of the popcorn kernels. And like I said, the Dollar Tree gnome is so cute this year. Like I have, as of recording this, I have not found the big gnomes yet at Dollar Tree, just the little ornament ones. And I'm gonna just take a rubber band to to tie that off so we don't spill our kernels. And I'll just cut off the excess. Now, what I'm going to use off of this is its beard, its gnome, its nose, and its arms. And again, like I said, super cute gnome. But this one's going to be a little bit bigger, and again, it'll be a different look so that I can have many different gnomes. I'm just kind of cutting up off the glue that was on this nose, which isn't too big of a deal since I'm going to just be gluing it back down anyway. So again, I'm just going to start kind of taking this gnome apart. Kind of feel bad, but again, I bought so many of these, so don't you worry. I kept some just as is. And now I'm just going to put the beard and nose right back onto the gnome. These tree skirts from Dollar Tree are so cute, and my whole decor is in buffalo plaid, so this was perfect to make his hat out of. And so I'm going to have plenty of this material left. So I'm just going to kind of make like a cone shape and make sure I have enough to fit over his head, and then I will glue this hat up to be his gnome hat. For this next step, you could use anything, a pipe cleaner, piece of wire, whatever. This was in my stash for the Christmas stuff, and since it has wire in it, I was like, I'll just use this, which is just one of their little wired, I don't know what branches. So by doing this, you just kind of can mold the hat a little more to get the shape that you like. I'm just going to cut a little piece of this trim and roll it into a ball, and this will just go on the tip of his hat. Okay, now I'm going to embellish the hat. This is a pick I believe I picked up from Joann's on clearance for probably 50 cents last year. I have so much stuff from last year that I got on clearance. I love a good clearance. So yeah, a lot of that. So I'm just going to embellish the hat right here. And then I'm going to add the arms and a little package. So this package that came from that pick was just a little bit too big, so I'm just going to cut it down right here. So as you see, if you don't have something like this, just grab a little square, a wood square or a styrofoam square, and then just wrap it like you would your own Christmas package. For this project, you're going to need a mason jar, a piece of light cardboard. This came in a pack of paper. A gnome nose, I used a wood bead. A sock. I picked this one up at Dollar Tree. And then just some fabric. This is an old scarf I was actually about to put into the donate pile. And then I was like, wait, this is material I can use. So you're just going to put the sock around the mason jar. And this will be our elf gnome body. So this guy doesn't have a beard. You can add a beard if you'd like. I just wanted to give him more of a young elf look. So I just leave the sock up like that. And then I'm just going to roll this cardboard piece into a cone shape, very similar to the very first gnome we did, and to make his hat. And then I will cover it in that green felt. And it's okay if that looks messy because we are going to add like a brim of the hat, if that's the correct word. So I'm just going to cut, about a 1-inch piece of this felt, and then I will glue it onto the hat and then glue it underneath inside to give it a nice finished edge. Okay, and there's my hat is complete. I will go ahead and I'm going to glue the little nose on there, and then I'm going to start embellishing the hat. And I just used some of the tassel from the scarf, but again, you could just cut some pieces of your fabric, and I'm going to put that at the top. And then I grabbed one of my other little picks I picked up from Walmart last year, which was just like a curly Q buffalo check item. So I'm just going to attach that to the hat. Now, the point of this project is I am not going to glue this hat on. And so the hat comes on and off, and you could fill the jar with treats and give this as a cute gift. And so the options are, you know, all sorts of different things that you could put inside the jar. Maybe a hot cocoa mix, maybe even just like a soup mix, any kind of fun thing that you can put into a mason jar, you could put into this mason jar, and then the hat would just come off like a lid. For this next project, I picked up one of these aprons for $1 from Dollar General. I saw the apron and knew exactly that I would be taking that truck off. The apron is actually very flimsy. It's kind of like a tote bag, maybe a shopping bag. I'm not sure, but it's not very strong. And so I just am able to rip this felt truck and treat right off of it. It comes off really easy. And then I'm just gonna add it to a sign and embellish the sign. It's a super quick and easy DIY. I'm just going to take one of these Dollar Tree signs. I use this one quite a bit because it's just a great shape. I'm going to sand off the glitter and then just add a piece of scrapbook paper. This is probably my most used piece of scrapbook paper that I get from Hobby Lobby. It has that shiplap look, and for $1. It's a very, very good find and can spruce up a project real easily. So again, like I said, I'm just going to tack this down, put my truck on, and then I kind of decide it needs a border, and so I'll use some of the nautical rope to make a border and embellish with some ribbon, and there you go. So of course I need a gnome garland. I'm going to use these snowflakes and this berry garland from Dollar Tree, and then these little gnomes are from Dollar General. They were $1 each. So cute. They had 3 different styles. You could use the ones from Dollar Tree as well. I just liked these ones. They were just a little bit smaller. And this is just simple. I'm just going to tie them every other item on the berry garland. So gnome, snowflake, gnome, snowflake. And then I'm just going to finish off the snowflakes with just a small little buffalo check ribbon. I find that garlands are the hardest to photograph because of how long they are, and I don't have my Christmas decor up quite yet, and so here you just see a portion of it. This is going to be our outdoor standing gnome. I'm just kind of showing you some of the fabrics that I've picked up from Dollar Tree, some blankets, some scarves that you could probably piece together to use. You'll need some gloves or mittens. I use the styrofoam ball, also from Dollar Tree. I'm so excited they have those now. You're going to need a mop head for the beard. So I picked up this blanket at CVS. It was $3.99. I had a 40% off coupon, so it was $2. And so that is what worked out best for me. And so then, of course, you're going to need a tomato cage. I picked up a couple different sizes. I plan to make a bunch of these. So you just rubber band the tip of your tomato cage, and so this is going to be our gnome's entire body. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the blanket, wrap it around, kind of see where I'm going to need it, and cut it out the amount that I need. And so you're getting to see my living room floor because my workstation where I normally craft is not big enough to handle this big project. I don't do so well sitting on the floor. I have a bad back, so you'll see the light change quite a bit because I took a lot of breaks and I went from day to night. And then, of course, you guys get to see my little doggie because she always wants to be right by me. And she's just the cutest little thing. You get lots of fabric left over, which is great. And so, again, you can just go buy a piece of felt or a piece of fleece. It's like practically always on sale at Joann's. But this was just so easy because like for $2 I got a blanket at CVS when I just happened to be in there. So I'm just gonna fit this on here just like I like, and then I will glue down the sides here. And I use the seam that they already had on the edge of their blanket, and it looks really nice. And then I will just glue the bottom down below and get that situated. Also, you might notice a silly bracelet on me. Yeah, I am having a surgery, no biggie. So I had to wear this bracelet the hospital put on before your surgery. I don't know, it's kind of dumb. So, yep, super fun bracelet. Okay, now it's time to put the beard on. So you're going to take all the strings out of your mop head just like that. You just pull them out one at a time and you get a bunch of string. So I'm just going to fold them in half and start gluing them on onto the fabric here. So I think next time, this is the first time I've made this project. So next time I would make the beard go up higher. I feel like this ends up being like a gnome with just like a huge hat. So I'd probably make that beard go higher. So I'm going to do a whole row across, and then I will put another layer on top of that just to give him a nice full beard. Again, also make sure that your center point is where there's no wire from the cage, because mine wasn't quite like that, and then when I put the nose on, it kind of interfered with where the tomato cage was underneath. Now for the nose, I just covered it in this gray sock that I had. I couldn't find any pink ones. I'm not allowed to leave the house, so I couldn't go run and get a pink sock, which I would have done if I could have. But you could use a piece of felt, you could paint it, whatever you want to use for the nose. But my gnome nose is it's just gray, but it works. And then I'll glue that on to my gnome. Okay, so now I'm going to make the brim of the hat. So I just have this piece that I cut from the remnants of the blanket, and I just folded it over and glued it so it's nice and thick. And then I'm just going to drape this around the hat, and it's going to fall over his nose. So this is just going to look like how, if the hat was on his head. Now, I probably would use two different fabrics if I made this again. I'd have one for the body and a different one for the head. But again, this is just what I had on hand, and this is what I made it work. Okay, lastly, I'm just going to make some arms. I just folded over a piece of this fabric again and hot glued it, and then I glued one side shut, as you see here, and kind of just made a seam, and that'll be the top of the arm. And then I'm just going to feed it right inside of the glove here, and that'll be its hand. But I wanted it to have more of a mitten look, so I decide to glue the fingers down so it'll have that mitten look. And those are going to be on the inside. You won't see them anyway. And so I just glue those, and then I shove the sleeve inside and then glue it onto the gnome. And the gnome is done. Again, you can see how I was saying it's like kind of all hat. So when I make the next one, I'm definitely going to go up a little bit higher. And I'm also going to use two different fabrics. And I think that will look really good. But this was a great start, and I hope it inspired you to do one of your own. I hope you enjoyed these gnome projects. I actually had several more I wanted to make, but this video was already so long and had so many gnome projects. So head over to my Instagram, which is $__mom, and you'll get to see the additional gnomes that I make posted over there. I hope you liked this video and that you will hit that like button and subscribe for future videos, because I have lots of Christmas DIYs to come.